He never expected anger to feel this sharp, this personal, this immediate, especially not in his own office, the glass-walled fortress 60 floors above the city where every decision he made moved markets and shattered competitors. Adrian Vale, CEO of one of the fastest-growing tech empires in the world, stood frozen just outside his office door, his hand still hovering inches from the biometric scanner, his breath caught mid-inhale as his eyes locked onto the impossible scene unfolding inside. At his desk, sat Lena, the quiet maid who arrived every morning before sunrise and left before most employees noticed her existence. She was still in her pale blue uniform, yellow cleaning gloves discarded beside the keyboard, her posture straight, her eyes focused, fingers flying across the keys of his private computer with a speed and confidence that didn't belong to someone who spent her days polishing glass and wiping fingerprints off polished steel. For a split second, rage surged through him, hot and absolute. His computer contained proprietary algorithms, confidential acquisition plans, security backdoors, information worth billions. Every instinct trained by years of boardroom warfare screamed betrayal. He stepped inside, the door sliding shut behind him with a quiet hiss that made Lena flinch. She turned slowly, her face draining of color, but she didn't scream, didn't run. She simply looked at him, eyes steady, as if she had been waiting for this moment. "Get away from the computer," Adrian snapped, his voice cold enough to cut. She didn't move. Instead, she glanced back at the screen, then at him, and said quietly, "If I stop now, it will crash." That stopped him. Not the words themselves, but the certainty behind them. Against his better judgment, he looked past her, really looked, and what he saw made his anger hesitate. Lines of code streamed down the screen, elegant, complex, alive. This wasn't copied junk or amateur hacking. This was architecture. Refinement. Genius. He stepped closer, scanning the logic, his mind racing faster with every line. "This is my encryption," he said slowly. "You shouldn't even understand it." Lena swallowed. "You're right," she replied. "I rewrote it." The room seemed to tilt. Adrian felt the strange sensation of standing on the edge of something vast and dangerous. "You what?" he whispered. She finally stood, hands shaking, but her voice held. "Your core security model has a flaw. Small, but fatal. In 12 to 18 months, someone would have found it. Not an employee. Not a competitor. Someone worse." Adrian's pulse thundered in his ears. He should have called security. He should have ended this immediately. Instead, he pulled a chair and sat, eyes locked on the screen. "Show me," he said. Lena hesitated only a moment before pointing to a cluster of functions buried deep in the system. As she explained, Adrian felt something he hadn't felt in years, pure, unfiltered awe. She wasn't guessing. She wasn't theorizing. She understood his system better than some of the engineers he paid 7 figures a year. When she finished, silence swallowed the room. "Who are you?" he finally asked. Lena looked down at her hands. "Someone who used to matter," she said softly. The words cracked something open. Over the next hour, the truth spilled out in fragments. Lena wasn't always a maid. She had once been Lena Moreno, a prodigy programmer recruited straight out of a public university, her research quietly shaping early AI ethics frameworks before a larger corporation absorbed her work, erased her name, and discarded her when she refused to sign away her intellectual rights. Lawsuits drained her savings. Blacklists followed. The industry closed its doors. Cleaning offices paid the rent. Watching his company from the outside, she had seen the flaw immediately, and the future disaster it would cause. "So you broke into my system?" Adrian asked, his anger now tangled with reluctant respect. "I fixed it," she replied. "I was going to leave you a report. Anonymous. I didn't expect you back so early." He laughed once, sharp and humorless. "You risked prison." "I risked doing nothing," she said. That was the moment everything changed. Adrian leaned back, staring at the skyline beyond the glass, realizing the world had just tested him in a way no hostile takeover ever had. He could destroy her with a single call. Or he could do something else. "Finish the patch," he said at last. Lena's eyes widened. "Then we talk." By dawn, the system was stronger than it had ever been. Adrian watched Lena work, truly watched, seeing not a maid but a mind that had been buried and ignored. When she finally stepped away, exhausted, he turned to her with an expression no one in his company had ever seen. "You don't clean this building anymore," he said. "You rebuild it." Weeks later, the industry buzzed with rumors of a mysterious new architect behind Veil Dynamics' impossible leap forward. No one mentioned the maid. But Adrian never forgot the moment his anger froze into awe, the moment he learned that brilliance doesn't always wear a suit, and that sometimes the most powerful code is written by the people everyone else overlooks. And if this story surprised you, if it made you look twice at the quiet corners of the world where hidden genius lives, don't forget to subscribe, because the next story might change the way you see everything, just like this one did.